watching the Bethel College Football Show.
Shire in at QB, throws the outline. It's jumped by Trey Palmer. He's going to take it for a pick six. Touchdown, Bethel. He catches it in midfield. Braden Francis from 91 yards from Zach Esau.
Now here's your host, Dan Page, with football coach Terry Harrison.
Hello and welcome to the Thresher Football Show. I'm Dan Page alongside head coach Terry Harrison of the Bethel College football team. The Threshers now 4-1 on the season after a 69-6 victory over Bethany this last week. The Threshers also get a win on the JV level as well and putting up a lot of points this past Monday against Sterling. So it's been a busy week for Thresher football, but going back to the last home game, the Fall Fest football game, had tons of fans in attendance. I wish we talked about this before, and I know you pushed this on social media. I wish we could see the home stand from the visiting perspective sometimes, because, man, I just had to look down, and I wanted to be down there with them in the stands, cheering on the team and everything. But obviously, a really good night for football.
Yeah, no, man, what a great night. And, it's been that way every year. Last year with COVID being a little weird, we still had a great crowd, all things considered. But year to year, Fall Fest is always a big deal, and there's so much that goes on. And we talked about that Hall of Fame banquet, which was awesome again this year. But, it's just fun to see our families. It's fun to have everybody back on the field after the game, to be a part of put-ups. And, it's just, there's no other way to put it. Bethel's a really special place, and we have really special kids. And I don't know that that's unique to the buildings or the stadium. It is the people is what makes it special. And so, man, it was fun to see that. And then obviously to play well was really cool. And had some records broken and a Player of the Week and all kinds of stuff. But more than that, just fun. And then, like you mentioned, coming back on Monday with a big JV win. Long week, but a great week. And the show goes on, and we move on to another one.
Yeah, a pretty tough one up this week, Coach. We got Southwestern that just jumped you, switched spots with you in the NAIA polls. They're up to 15. Kansas Wesleyan at number 10, you guys at number 16, and then Avila still in the top 25 there as well. Big weekend for the conference this weekend. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I want to revisit the Bethany football game. Coach, you go for 697 yards of total offense, breaking the school record set in 1998 against McPherson, I believe, at the time. And then you go ahead and break your own rushing record with about 618. Yeah, 618. And as usual, you spread the wealth.
Yeah, no, that's anybody who's watched us play, that's kind of who we are and what we do. And, it was one of those deals. We got to play a bunch of kids, and, and those guys have earned that opportunity. And it was definitely not a one-man show. Those guys were blocking for each other, and they were scoring, and they kind of know that's our brand of football. And anybody that's watched us has seen that. But no, it was a great night. It's so fun to watch our kids, and so excited for some of those guys. Like Tucker Smith, you and I talked about already, who came out, and I think every ball he touched, he scored. Tay got in there and got action. DJ with his first start, and just what a great night. Felt like the O-line played really well. We played a lot of those guys, and so it's hard to start saying names, but man, just so fun to watch all those guys play, and really both sides, And I think it was it was one of those deals, settled in the game early and kind of got over some jitters maybe or whatever that was, and getting kind of our timing down and all that stuff. And then once we did that, I think we punted one time maybe, if that.
Yeah, I can't even remember.
Yeah, maybe not, but definitely scored 8 of 11 on third down, which has been really a big focus of ours. And I think we're like second in the country on third down right now, which was, after our first couple of weeks, we weren't there, and we've always been top 1 or 2. So, man, our kids, they were challenged to do that, and we've been able to do that. And so, we talk about fun night. Lots of kids scored. It was so fun to watch, and more than that, just seeing a lot of kids get an opportunity to play, and then with the Fall Fest stuff, it was just a great night.
two different players with 3 touchdowns, and we touched on them each. DJ Sears, quarterback for the Threshers, got his first collegiate start, and he threw for a touchdown, found Braden Francis, familiar name, for the touchdown grab, and then DJ rushed for 3, and one of his was by far the most improv play I've ever seen, from a quarterback as far as in a Thresher uniform. Busted pass play, he just takes off down the field, gets 2 key blocks there, and he's the type of guy that you're not going to catch up to because he's so shifty. He put a juke on at the linebacker level, and then he was just going DJ with a great night, accounting for 4 touchdowns. And then Tucker Smith, you mentioned it, 4 carries for 167 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, he averaged, I think, like 70 yards a carry. So it was a great night for him, a guy that stepped up for you guys, with you have guys missing in that position.
Yeah, we've got some guys that are banged up, and we say it all the time, but then it shows you our guys get to practice. I think it's we take our developmental games, our JV games, whatever you call them, very seriously, and we make those a big-time experience to create an actual game-like atmosphere. And these are guys that have done that in that stage. And so then when they get to playing a game, it's, maybe the lights aren't quite as bright. But no, just, proud of those guys, especially Tucker, like you talked about, who's been, man, just such a hard worker and a great kid and just, an excellent teammate. And I think you can see that, how kids get excited when he got his opportunity to score. And then DJ, Coach Kelly recruited him out of Houston, Texas. He's been a guy we recruited a long time. Really for us as coaches, we saw him do that. We saw him do that in high school. We saw his highlight films, and we knew, man, this is a kid that can do that. Coach Kelly went down and watched him play in person, and I was getting calls like, "Hey, man, this kid's special." And so we knew that was, he has a different dynamic. And the cool part is, I think, sometimes when you watch our offense, you think it's a stubborn deal, but it's not. It is flexible, and we can tweak it to fit the strengths of our players, whether that was Zach in the past, whether that's Landon, whether that were DJ or Josh or whoever that person's going to be. We can tailor it and fit it to their strengths. And I think it's tough to defend because depending on the quarterback and depending on the makeup of the backfield, we're going to tweak this thing to make sure it fits our kids. And so I think, if you go down the progression thus far of quarterback play from Zach's strengths to Landon's to DJ, they're all different.
Yeah.
And I think depending on who's playing, you're going to see a little bit of a different, I don't know if you want to call it flavor of, what that looks like. And I think that's hard to prepare for.
Absolutely, and he's been a great job adapting to the offense, just making the most out of it. I mean, making it his own, like you just said, Coach. So you had other guys getting touchdowns. Caden Christensen had a good touchdown. Devontae Pickard, Cash McRae. I mean, I could go down the list of everybody, but one stat that not a lot of people are talking about, Chance Scurry, now over 2,000 yards rushing for his career, and a guy that deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, been playing since he got here, an excellent teammate. He's the coach on the field, has been a tough guy, man, has really came in more physically ready than he's ever been to play. And, when the way he's been running, we've been able to get him off the field a little bit and get other guys carries. And, does such a great job between KJ and Scott and how we've managed that. And even Cash is starting to emerge a little bit. But no, Chance he's been our guy. He's been the B-back since I got here. And so he was one of my recruits, right? Coach Kelly gets DJ, but Chance was mine. And so, man, just super proud of him and man, what he's meant to our program. Unanimous first team all-conference guy for 3 years, and then his Ted Kessinger Character Award for the entire conference last year or the year before. One of those years, and just couldn't happen to a better kid and a guy who goes out and earns it every day. So proud of him, and it's been fun to watch.
I've noticed specifically this year, it just seems like it has a lot more speed once he breaks through, and he can really turn it on. But in the past, sometimes he might have stumbled up or was dragging guys on him, but it's really been impressive. A run against Ottawa. I mean, you could go through a lot of games this year, really, honestly. He has just been explosive with football, and you can definitely see that speed, which you don't necessarily expect from a guy with his build and his position and everything. But that's what you guys practice. So the offense there with a record-breaking night, Tanner Galliard led you in receiving. Braden Francis had the 1 catch for 28 yards and a touchdown. And then Cam Harrison had probably one of the most improv kind of pass and catch plays that I've ever seen. DJ was going down, and he just kind of sidearmed it to him, and I don't know how he got it. And then Cam goes and hurdles the defender. Just I thought he was going to end up in the end zone the way he did it, but it was a really athletic move. But your defense played pretty well as well. I know Coach Kemp will be happy with how the defense performed against Bethany. Really only gave up 1 touchdown late. Put a lot of hits on quarterback. I could talk about so many different guys that have really stepped up in that box and everything. But your ordinary guys like Siebold and Domo and Mark Lanier, they did their job well. Avery and in the secondary, Trey Palmer, his 4th interception of the year. It's pretty. I mean, he's been on fire in the secondary. When teams want to throw on him, he's there to catch it.
Yeah, I think he's. I love Trey. I think he's the best corner in the country, and I don't. People keep throwing at him, which is good for the Threshers, right? And so he's done an awesome job, and we've used him and. We make some zone and man stuff, but when you have the ability with a kid like him to just say, "Hey, we're going to X out this player," and he is. Some of the really funny part is. It's not. It kind of almost goes unnoticed when you're playing here because he just does that, and then you go see some of the receivers he has shut down have been conference player of the week the weeks before and after, and had multiple touchdown catches in a game. So, I think when you're watching defense play, you can lose sight of because he's been so dynamic and such a great player. You don't even know what's going on because those guys aren't making catches. When they get a pick, obviously that's something you see, but. Trey changes the game, and when I say that, it's definitely he's our guy and we love him, but I think he's the best corner in the country and I'm proud of him, and more than that, as good as he is a player, he's an even better teammate and an even better kid, and has been just an impactful kid on this campus, and so definitely proud of him and what he means to our defense, and then like you talked about. I think they popped a couple of runs on us in some weird scenarios, which kind of skewed it a little bit. I thought they played even better than that showed. But yeah, I think I think I mentioned earlier, Josh got Player of the Week again for however many times that is, and he's been obviously a staple of our program since he got here. But man, Brennan Sanders played a little banged up, but still played really well. Garrett Slater has still played. Denzel Dixon was back, and so it's been by, I don't know if committee, but we've played a lot of people. And so I think it's more obvious on offense just because of the world we live in. But the stories we talk about, these guys on offense who've gotten opportunities and made plays, the same thing's been happening on defense. It just doesn't always show up as obviously. But, man, so proud of those guys. And what Coach Kemp's done is phenomenal on defense. And then, the talent we have a lot of dynamic football players, and it's a lot like offense where it shares the wealth on offense. Well, some of our statistics on defense have been shared, and there's not one, just major stat guy, and it's because they play such a great brand of team defense, and I think that's been, the most fun to watch. But like you mentioned, I don't know where Trey's at nationally on interceptions, but he's going to be up there, and then his however many games in a row he's had one is pretty, it's just impressive, and being watching has been really fun.
Absolutely. Guys that really stepped up to, in my eyes, Byron Blassingame and Jairo Castillo, both were very active defensively, that maybe didn't get as much clout as they probably deserve, but they played very hard. They played extremely hard, and you're right. Trey, 12 interceptions now in his career in his 3rd year in a Thresher uniform, and we knew kind of 2 years ago that he was going to be that type of guy, and he just can make plays when you need them, not just in the defensive phase, but in the special teams phase. And you can't in football to win football games. You sometimes have to get those things going for you to win it, not just in the offensive touchdowns, but he's just that kind of player, and of course All-American last year, so well deserved. And he's going to have his hands full this week as well. But him, he's ready for the challenge. So the Threshers get the victory, 69-6 over Bethany. I was really pulling for Logan DeMond there to tie his career best, a 44-yard field goal. He just missed that one that he tried against Bethany, but been kind of pulling for him. That was his first field goal miss of the year. So
yeah, he's kicked really well. I think I've talked about it before. He's had some injury in the past. He's had a little tweak, this year, but he's kicking so well. And if we're in that same spot again, we're gonna have him kick again because he's been phenomenal, and that whole unit's been pretty good. So he just missed one, and that's okay. And we would do it again in a heartbeat. And so he changes the game when you get that get down that 30-yard around that 30-yard line, knowing you can get points. And so we just missed one, but man, those guys did a great job bouncing back after on those PATs, and they're doing a great job. That whole specialist unit between Ryan, Braden, and Logan have been phenomenal, and so really proud of those guys.
Yeah, it's really the positions that obviously get overlooked as far as how critical it is to have those extra points, and so they were pretty well on Saturday. I think just one mishap or something like that. So that's about it. But it's special teams is such a perfectionist kind of thing. But that's just the nature of it. So the Threshers again get the victory over Bethany, 69-6. Now 4-1 on the season, and currently sitting about 3 or 4 in the conference rankings. You have Kansas Wesleyan and Southwestern both at 5-0, Avila and Bethel at 4-1 apiece, and it has been interesting to see how it's developed. This is going to be a big weekend for just the conference in general, determining who's going to separate themselves from the top to the top 4 spots. So it'll be really good to see. Coach, just real quickly, the JV game, you guys, I think it's 41-0 at halftime. You had some guys. I mean, just guys that played on Saturday got a little bit of time on Monday, but then you had some guys that don't normally play really and step into the game, and just trying showing the deep depth you have as far as the program down, and those type of football games, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's. We can't coach the other teams, certainly, but we're going to take it very seriously when we play. And because, the point of that schedule is, while we have a lot of fun, clearly it's like part football, part wrestling event. If you're not there in person, I don't know if the live stream justifies how much fun we were having. I was trying to live tweet in the middle of it, but then I was having so much fun I was forgetting to do it. But the point of that game is to stack future wins, right? And I've said that before on our show, but the point is to stack future wins and to get guys game reps. Because our guys get to practice every day, but there's nothing like a game rep. And so we're going to take those games very seriously. We coach really hard during those games, and we try to turn the pressure up so those guys get coached hard and understand what the expectation is. And on the flip side of that, we want to play a lot of kids, so that it's a twofold deal. And then obviously with that, we talked last time about our older guys serving. We don't have to talk as much about that, although what a fun environment. If you don't watch those in person, you are absolutely missing out. And if you're anywhere near the stadium, you need to come watch those things because they are fun. And we want to be a program built on joy and understanding. Sometimes you can almost, as a coach, you got to be very careful not to take the fun out of football, right? Now. Right. And our hope is those games we're able to do that and remind ourselves, hey, this is a game, and we want to have fun doing it. And I think those guys do a great job of that. But no, lots of guys played. James Bernard, Jimmy Hinault played awesome. That old lineman, we had like 7 guys that were playing. They got a ton of reps and obviously played really well because we scored a ton of points. I mean, turnovers on defense, lots of big plays, and it was just, a great night. And it's one of those deals. I think it's what's the secret or what's one of our secrets? I think that, and making it a big time game is, I think it's really important, and I think it's important for our kids. And while we don't want to take ourselves seriously, we want to take those games seriously, and I think our guys, they balance that really well. And so just confirmed today, we are going to play again next Monday at Bethany. So that's October 11th. That's this coming Monday. We're going to play at Bethany. It's a 7 p.m. kick. I don't know if they're going to live stream or what that's going to be like, but we're going to be there playing, and we're going to work to, at a minimum, have highlights coming from the sideline. But our kids are excited about that. I announced that today, and our kids went nuts because playing football is fun, and any chance we get, we want to do it. So anyway, that'll be our final one this year, though, and so we're excited about that and couldn't be more proud of those guys. Lots of parents there. I mean, we had to kick people off the field at the end and turn the lights out because people were just having fun after the game. We did put-ups just like normal. So, man, couldn't be more proud of those kids and the amount of work they put in. And like we've mentioned enough, they put the same amount of work in as a Landon Barnes does and a Keegan Martin or Josh Seabolt. They don't put any less hours in, and so to see that rewarded in the form of playing in a game is, it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it, and our coaching staff does. I think we were up here 2 more hours watching the live stream and just having fun as coaches again. So really good stuff, and really proud of those guys, and proud of the families for coming out and supporting them as well.
Absolutely, I got to take in a game from the coach's box for a change on JV, and I never get to see that side of the football game, and it's always interesting to focus, even when in a JV game like that, you guys are locked in. So really enjoyed that. So again, the Threshers get ready to play Southwestern this week, and when we come back here on the Thresher Football Show, we're gonna set the stage for Bethel and Southwestern, 1 p.m. kick from Winfield this week on Saturday. Don't go anywhere.
Thresher fans, get ready for the 2021-2022 school year by becoming a member of the Bethel Booster Club. Your membership impacts all athletic programs by paying for experiences last year, such as the Thresher's Award Show, postseason experiences and postseason tickets, the Hall of Fame banquet, enhanced live streaming equipment, windscreens at Thresher Stadium, improvements at Weedle Field and Ward Tennis Center, and new wall mats inside Thresher Gym. Be a part of Thresher Athletics history in a booster club that has grown 500% in the past 5 years, over 4 levels of membership plus a parent level. Join the Bethel College Booster Club today to help student athletes live out life-changing experiences. For more information, go to bethelks.edu/booster-club today.
Welcome back to the Thresher Football Show. Dan Page alongside Coach Terry Harrison as the 4-1 Threshers get set to take on the 5-0 Southwestern Mound Builders from Winfield. 1 p.m. kick this Saturday, and should be a great game. If you can't make it, watch it on the KCAC network. I told fans this last week at the end of the Bethany broadcast that Bethel, football needed their help on the road, to travel well for a very big football game. We all know what the Southwestern game was last year, Coach. I mean, going right down to the wire, and never a dull moment in that football game. And for a team like them that returns a lot of their skill players, it's going to be a very tough football game.
Oh, absolutely. I think every year since I've gotten here, 18, 19, 20. Every year we've played has come down in the fourth quarter. There's not been even in 2018, we did not play well, and we actually gave ourselves a shot to win that in the fourth, and we just came up short. 2019 was there again, and they went down and scored in the last minute, and and then obviously here we came down to the last seconds to win, and so it's been two programs that are in a similar spot as far as talent level and coaching longevity. And so it's always a tough matchup, and this year will be no different. We've just flipped 16-15 week to week, and so it kind of tells you what looks to be a great game on paper, right? And so we hope we can hold up our end of that and play really well. And I know we're preparing like that and having a great week of practice. So we're going to play extremely well. They're very talented. They replaced a lot of guys on defense, but they're one of the top defenses in the conference. Their defense coordinator does a great job. And then, offensively, like you mentioned, their skill guys, their receivers are unbelievable. Their running back's been there longer than I've been at Bethel. So his name's Keyshawn. There's two Keyshawns, a receiver and a running back, maybe Wyatt. But he's a good player. Running back really does a really good job, really good player. He's actually a really fun kid. He was hurt in 2018 and got to talk to him a little bit. And one of those kids you root for when you're not playing them, right? And so,
right.
Man, they just do a good job. They do a lot of really cool stuff on offense that poses some challenges. So it's always a really tough matchup. And so, man, we're going to play really well. We'd love to have a bunch of people there like we always do. So I know our people will show up. And it's actually a fun stadium to play in. They do a really good job with their atmosphere and environment. And so, man, we're got to be ready as a program and have some good days of practice and give ourselves an opportunity.
Obviously, Coach, you mentioned a little bit about the history. A couple years ago, you played afternoon kick there, up 17-0 at halftime, and then the second half turnovers kind of bit you a little bit, and then they pull out that football game. So now you get to go back down there. Some of the same guys that were on that team on this team, and hopefully get a better taste in your mouth. Of course, they want a piece of what you guys did last year. The home team the last couple of years pulled it out, but obviously it's going to be a great football game. They're putting up some good offensive numbers, just like you guys. They can throw it, they can run it. I mean, they're very good. Their quarterback Luke Barnes last week threw for 355. The deep ball was really going against McPherson last week for the Mound Builders. Four touchdowns and 1 interception to his name, and they can spread the wealth a lot like Kansas Wesleyan does through the air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, their quarterback's done a really good job, and he's had some really good stats. And so, hopefully what we do on defense will make him at least, throw it to us a little bit, or maybe kind of panic him and throw off some timing, even if we don't get a sack or something, because that's what he hasn't had. Is a little bit of pressure. So. Hopefully we can establish that. That's always one of our goals, so it's not like that's a surprise or something that changes week to week. And so we want that guy to be uncomfortable. And, over the course of a game is, does he want to keep playing when he's, getting shots and pressure? And that's kind of, one of our goals. And you match that with our defensive backs. I think it's a tough challenge, but that is a unique matchup. And then on top of that, what they do have is complementary football players, because their running back is so good. It's not like they're only going to throw the ball. You have to be prepared for both. And so Coach Kim's been really honed in on those guys, has done a really good job preparing And so it's going to be it's going to be a challenge for our defense, but I think our defense has answered every challenge they've gotten this far, and they've given us an opportunity to win every game. And so I expect that'll be no different against Southwestern. And then offensively, I think we mentioned they had 7. So they have 4 returning starters, but kind of like us, that's a little deceiving. A lot of those guys played a lot of football, even though they're technically not a starter. So, man, both teams have veteran players and coaches, staffs that have been together for a long time. So, man, everything looks to be a great college football game. I think our game with them last year. Now we came out on top of it, but I think it was one of the best games I've ever witnessed. We were just fortunate that the time didn't run out of us, and we were able to win that thing. And so our kids have respect for those guys. Coach Griffin's their head coach is a good dude, and has helped me a lot. Transition from high school to college. So it's one of those games that is very competitive, and you want to win. And we've been in tight games, but certainly it's a matter of respect, not anything else.
Sure, absolutely. And of course, everybody can compare the course of results for the season, mutual opponents, things like that. Obviously, them winning 45-34 against McPherson, and you guys beating McPherson week 1, 24-0. That people may have questions about Southwestern's defense after seeing last week's performance.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't. They're really good. So I'll answer that right now. But no, that's football's a game of matchups, and I think they've they're built. Their box is really good, which we're going to run the ball and kind of challenge that and see if we can kind of dent that and move the ball down the field, and then take opportunities when they come up. And so no, I think however that worked out with McPherson is just one of those things, and I do think they're really good on defense. Specifically, their box players are very good. They had a bunch of linebackers that have played a lot of football, so those hybrid type of guys. So we're going to have to play really well and make sure we have a good plan for that. I know we do, and then like we talked about, they have a really good defense and really good offensive player. So man, it's going to be a true test of our team to see where we're at, and just a great opportunity to go out and play against a high quality football team. Two
teams that, hands down, in 3 phases of the football game, do a very good job of everything. Special teams, I believe their kicker or punter got Special Teams Player of the Week most recently for the KCAC. So definitely a lot of comparisons as far as how good you guys are in each phase of the football game. So that just even grows to this anticipation of the matchup again, 1 o'clock from Winfield this Saturday. Number 15 Southwestern 5-0 against number 16 Bethel, who is 4-1. And with that, you kind of look at the course of the conference season. This is a big, important weekend because there's so many 1 o'clock kicks now that things are getting a little bit chilly in the evenings. You have Ottawa at St. Mary this week, and Friends hosting McPherson, Bethany at home against Sterling, and you guys at Southwestern, and then a big football game in Kansas City. The other two teams in the top 4 as Avila welcomes in Kansas Wesleyan, and that is always a good game. The last 2 years, 2 years ago, Avila took them to the wire, and last year they pulled it out against Kansas Wesleyan. So it's competitive.
Yeah, it's really weird how that works. With us and Southwestern in our kind of last 3 years, that's kind of been Avila and Kansas Wesleyan, which has been back and forth. And so that, like we talk about, it's not coach talk to say the matchups matter. And so our matchup with Southwestern has created these games that come down to the wire, and Avila and Kansas Wesleyan has been no different. And so, yeah, no, it's interesting to see. It does matter as far as conference standings, which matters for potential playoff berths. We treat each game, as we only get one game this week, and it happens to be this one. So, we certainly know that there's, it is a big game at some level, but at the same time, it's just, if you don't have a great week of practice, that doesn't matter. And our kids have bought into that. Our kids were awesome at practice. They've had a great couple of days of practice, and we're in that rhythm of the season now, and they're just kind of getting ready to go play a game. And I really believe we're going to give this thing our best shot. And I think, man, based on the matchup, I really like our chances and respect their team. But man, what looks to be a great college football game, and one I'm going to try to enjoy every minute of for sure.
Yeah, last week we talked about the next few football games and breaking it down in threes and things like that. But the next 3 are going to be really telling for the course of the season, and of course for you guys. At Southwestern, home against Avila, and then on the road at Sterling. Then you get Tabor at home, and then the final 2 games on the road. So it's we're getting at the halfway point of the season, and these Sterling's playing a little bit better this year. They're not as banged up as they were last year, so they're a few weeks down the road. But man, these next 3 weeks are going to be really, again, tough for you guys.
Yeah, I think that they have one or two losses. I mean, not many losses between the next three opponents. Sterling's put together a really good year thus far, and then obviously Avila and Southwestern have as well. So no, we're this is the row of 3 games that are. They're big games, whatever that means, and they're tough. They're good players, good opponents, good coaches, good players, and so we got to make sure we've got to balance the game prep with the physicality of these games. Are going to be as tough a 3-game stretch as we've had probably in a long time, and so we got to make sure our guys are ready to roll and they're able to recover week to week, and so that's kind of what we prioritize anyway. We don't beat our guys up at practice. We try to get them mentally ready. And so far, man, they've done a really good job of that. So can't wait for this. Obviously, one game at a time. You only get one game, and this week is Southwestern. But like you mentioned, it should be a fun 3 weeks of football against quality opponents. That's really going to kind of see where we're at as a program. And it's one of those deals. It causes some anxiety, and it makes you excited for those games. But we know at a minimum we're going to get feedback on Saturday to say what are we good at, what are we bad at, and we just take it week by week. And man, I'm excited to watch our guys play.
And I know, Coach, your approach and your team's approach, it's a football game. It's nothing more than that. And, of course, it's going to be a tough one this week at Southwestern. A lot of road games. Just only a couple home games left between Avila and Tabor. And, who knows from there on out. So, we're getting to the halfway point of the season. And it's just kind of flying by right now. And before you know it, it'll be November and we'll be in Texas. So it's you kind of, like you said, you try to, manage some, banged up players and everything the best you can. But, you just kind of flip into last year a little bit. You knew what you had to do to get it done, and then you had the spring to recover and things like that. But you don't necessarily have that this time.
Yeah, no, it's both a blessing and a curse, right? It was not fun waiting 3 weeks between games, I promise you that. But we were able to get rested up. And so, no, it's just a normal, what I remember of a normal football season where you get guys banged up and you got to get healthy. But, more than that, man, how thankful should we be that we have these good players that, one injury doesn't take you out of the run that you're trying to make for playoff bids and conference championships. And so, man, it's just, love our kids, love their confidence, love the way we play. We're ready for this game. We have great players who have gotten a lot of reps over time and young guys who have truly stepped up and embraced this opportunity and have been so fun to watch. And so, while it is frustrating to have banged up guys, but man, equally it's just as awesome to watch these young guys play so well, and it's just an opportunity for those guys to kind of cement their legacy and this opportunity that they have, and we have some kids that are primed and ready for that, and so it should be a great game Saturday, and man, I really think these guys are going to step up and play really well because we've been in plenty of big games. This is just another one, so can't wait to watch that.
Again, it's the Threshers and the Mound Builders at 1 p.m. in Winfield against Southwestern. Should be a very good football game, and the Threshers on the road this week, kind of alternating here for a little bit throughout the month of October, and we're excited for that football game. Hope you can make it. If not, again, you can watch on the KCAC network with the Southwestern College broadcasters. I'll be on the sideline getting you live tweeting the game from Thresher Game Day on Twitter, and we'll post those highlights on other social media as well. So that's going to do it for our show this week. I appreciate everybody watching. We love the feedback, and we do this for the parents and student athletes and just to further recognize their efforts. And the coaches put a lot of work, so this is a great opportunity to shed light on that. So for Coach Harrison, I'm Dan Page. Thanks for watching, and roll on.